We all sat there for 5 years waiting on Jamie King to get it together. 5 years. Same woman, same hotel, same front desk. That man wrote songs about fancy, fought grown men over fancy, damn near ran through a wall for fancy. And every single time she turned around and said, okay, I'm here, he'd do a little voice impression. He'd do a whole character. He'd become somebody else right in front of her and just slide out the room. And we called him a player. We called him a dog. We said he just wasn't ready. Nah, that man was terrified. And once I show you where the fear came from, that 5-year chase is going to look like something completely different. Because Jamie King was not running toward fancy. He was running in a circle around her on purpose. And he had a pretty good reason. So let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Indescribable, aka Geraldine Lake, and I'm back with another video about the psychology hiding inside the Jamie Foxx show. Now, this is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, but here's my thesis, okay? Jamie King learned as a child that the way to hold somebody's attention is to be entertaining. He also learned that being entertaining is the exact thing that takes people away from you. That's a contradiction that he had to live in. The performance was how he got love, and the performance was what stole his mama away. So he grew up into a man who can't be still, can't be plain, can't just sit there and be Jamie for 30 seconds without doing a voice impression. Yeah, it was his personality, but it was also his armor. And you don't need armor unless you feel like you have to defend yourself. So let's start with his mama, because she started it. She was gone, working, chasing her dreams out there. Now, a woman out there providing is not a crime, okay? And I'm not about to sit here and drag no black woman for working, all right? That's not what this is. But here is what it does to a kid, and this is the part people miss. It is not the leaving that wrecks the child. It is the not knowing. A parent who is consistently gone, a child just adjusts to that. A parent who shows up sometimes, big and loving and wonderful, and then disappears, and then shows up again, that child never gets to settle. There's a name for it: intermittent reinforcement. That's the same principle that makes a slot machine work. If the machine paid out every time, you'd get bored. If it never paid out, you'd walk away. It's the maybe that keeps you sitting there, feeding it money at 2 in the morning. Now put a little boy in front of that machine and tell him it's his mother. He's not going to grow up and want stability. He's going to grow up and be suspicious of it, because stability never taught him anything. He's going to feel most alive in the chase. Now, here's the part the show never touches, and its silence is loud, okay? Where is Jamie King's father? Not dead, not villainized, never really explained, just not there. And the show moves right past it like it's nothing, because in 1996, a black man with no father is the storyline that was so normal that nobody thought to even write a scene about it. But a boy still needs a blueprint for how a man stays. And since nobody handed him one, he picked up on the one that was just laying around the house: Uncle Junior. Now, y'all, Uncle Junior was charming, funny, quick with a scheme, allergic to responsibility, and dodging Helen at all times. That was the man that Jamie watched every single day. That man taught him that if you're charming enough, you can talk your way out of accountability forever. And it kind of worked for Junior for the most part. And that's the problem. Jamie saw it working. Now, let me be very clear about something before we go any further. Aunt Helen raising him is not a tragedy. In our families, that's an institution. Aunties, grandmamas, cousins, church mothers, we have been raising each other's children on purpose for generations and doing it well. And the research on kinship care backs that up. Kids raised inside the family network are typically more stable, not less. Helen fed that boy, housed him, gave him a job when the music thing wasn't moving, told him the truth to his face when nobody else would. Helen was the wall. She was the safe spot. And the show treated her like a loudmouth auntie with a spatula instead of the reason that man had a life at all. So both things are true. He was genuinely loved by the people who stayed, and he still carried a quiet question about the one who didn't. Being raised right by your auntie don't delete the wondering. It just means you got a safer place to do the wondering. So he moves to Los Angeles to be a star. Big dreams, big talk, even bigger mouth. And then he stayed at that front desk for 5 seasons. Okay, now think about that. Not one real push, not one moment where he laid it all out and found out what he was actually worth, just talking about what he was going to do in between checking in guests and putting on a bellhop uniform. Psychology has a name for that too, and it's a gut punch. Self-handicapping, that's when a person creates their own excuse ahead of time so that if they fail, the failure doesn't count. It wasn't me. It was the job. It was the timing. I never really tried. Because here's the math that a scared person does. If I never fully go for it, I never find out that I'm not enough. And I get to keep saying that I could have. Now, that's not laziness. That's a man protecting the last little bit of hope that he's got by never really testing it. And a whole lot of y'all are watching this from a job that you took as a placeholder 11 years ago. I said what I said, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking right about now. But he went on tour with Casey and JoJo. He did try. He did chase his dreams. Y'all, Jamie went on a road with them for like 6 weeks and then got kicked off the tour because he was doing too much. Again, over-the-top entertainment to get people's attention. Instead of simply doing his job by being part of the team of people who want the same goal, he literally self-sabotaged himself right back to that hotel front desk because he wanted to be the star. And ain't nobody bigger than the program.
I'm the one selling the records. They coming to see me.
They coming to see the Temptations.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Even Fancy encouraged him to seek stability in his career and his finances. Everybody frames those 5 years the same way. He failed to commit. He couldn't lock in and he kept messing up. But think about it this way. The chase was the commitment avoidance. That was not him failing to get her. That was the whole strategy. Because as long as you're chasing somebody, look at what you get. You get to feel devoted. You get to look like you in love. Everybody watching says, "Oh, he really does want her." And you never once have to be still, be known, or find out if the real you is enough for her. Pursuit is distance, but with a better PR team. And there's actual science on this exact behavior. It's called approach-avoidance conflict. And the finding is actually kind of beautiful. When something both attracts you and scares you, the pull gets stronger the further away you are. But the fear grows faster the closer you get. So you move toward it, and then at a certain closeness, the fear overtakes the wanting, and you bounce. That's Jamie every single time. Go back and watch it. She gets soft and close, and she says something real, and here comes a comical impression. He becomes a whole different character. He'd rather she laugh at a stranger than look at him and truly see him. 5 years of that? For running a woman in circles because you too scared to just say, "I'm afraid you'll see me and leave me like my mama did"? Jamie, go to hell, okay? Now the other side of it, because it's real. Some of y'all are saying he was a young man in his 20s who didn't owe nobody a ring, and that's fine. Not every man at that age is supposed to be somebody's husband, and Fancy was not just, standing there being victimized either. She liked the attention. She kept the door cracked open just a little bit. She had other men, and she was still checking for Jamie. That's a 2-person dance, and she knew all the choreography, okay? But being 20-something explains a year or two. It don't explain 5. Now let's talk about Braxton. Braxton P. Hartnerbrigg was uptight, proper, and followed every rule. Kept a spreadsheet, and Jamie couldn't stand that man, okay? Ask yourself why Braxton wasn't a threat. Braxton was an accountant, but he was sincere and he was steady, and he was trying out in the open where everybody could see him fail. That's the thing Jamie couldn't bring himself to do. Braxton was the version of Jamie that took the risk of being earnest, and every time Jamie clowned him, he was really saying, "Please don't let that be me." It's easier to make fun of a man for trying than admit that you too scared to try. And Braxton wasn't innocent either. That man was smug, he was condescending, and always ready to remind everybody that he went to a better school and that he knew best. One more thing, all those voices and impressions, the singing at the piano and the characters, we watched that man and we said, "Oh, he's talented. He's so talented." Because he is. But both things are true. And there's a difference between humor that you use to bring people closer and humor that you use to keep people away. And researchers actually separate those into different styles. One kind builds a room. The other kind puts a wall right through the middle of it. Jamie used the wall kind. Every time a scene got too quiet or too real or too honest, he would break it. Every time it read as funny because it was funny, and that's exactly what makes it work so well. They finally get together in the end, and we all were glad about it, but I'm not sitting here trying to take your favorite show from you. I just don't think that the ending was a man finally deciding that he wanted her. I think it was a man who ran out of ways to stall. Because remember, Cupid had pulled up and was about to steal Francesca away at that bowling alley. Now, Jamie was afraid that the powerful magic of love, even if it was fabricated, was going to take his girl forever. He didn't even propose because that's what he truly wanted to do. He did it because he didn't want to lose her. Now listen, if you saw yourself anywhere in this breakdown, in the chasing, the joking when it gets serious, That's me. In the dream that you talk about instead of the dream that you're doing, then that's not a diagnosis, but it's a pattern, and it's a pattern that can be interrupted the second you can name it. Somebody in your life right now is doing an impression instead of telling you how they really feel. And somebody watching this is the one doing the impressions. So tell me in the comments which one you are, because I already know which one I've been. And if you like it when we get this deep, then subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know every single time your girl uploads. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.